So the 1st of April 2016, so we're in the months now, the 400th anniversary of his death, but we don't know quite when he died precisely. Most people think it was April 23rd, his birthday, don't they? But we don't know for sure.
Well, that could just be a myth, couldn't it? It could just be convenient, and also being St George's Day and our most
very
famous,
neat, isn't it?
yes, perhaps too neat.
Yeah.
Yes, ruined the party probably, didn't it, if he died on that date. But if it is true that he died then and in that fashion, possibly after a great celebration, I think it's a rather lovely death. He went out amongst friends, laughing and probably reciting poetry. But what's the significance now, 400 years since then? What are we left with? How do we reevaluate the bard?
I think we're left with some things that are very tangible and some things that are intangible, and both those things are a real gift. I think the intangible stuff is often about his life, the things we don't know about him, or about how the plays were staged. And I think wondering about that and playing with those ideas is one of the fun things to do with Shakespeare in the classroom, actually, to learn about his biography and his life and how these plays may have been put on an Elizabethan or a Jacobean stage. And then the very tangible things are the plays themselves, which continue to give us so much.
And there's an enormous amount being done this year, isn't there, to celebrate 400 years since his death. Fantastic exhibitions in London, including Shakespeare's Will, which hasn't been seen for years and will not be seen again for 25 years after it disappears back into the National Archive. All sorts of exciting productions aimed at everyone in the population, really. So there's a great deal of national joy, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, but also, let's not forget, there are other things going on around the world. I was reading in the New York Times of events in the US to mark this, so it's Shakespeare really belongs to the world, not just to Great Britain, but to everybody and every culture. And
when the world came to London for the Olympics, you know, whose voice did we hear first? You know, it was that quote from The Tempest that opened the opening ceremony of the Olympics, and he is for everybody, and he's for the whole world, isn't he?
And also there was in the same year, wasn't there, there was the Globe to Globe, lot of plays where all his plays were done in a variety of languages, which was incredibly impressive.
And our books sell around the world, don't they? And I think that's one of the lovely things about putting these together, is that you're conscious of children in Germany and Australia and China using them and using them to get to know his plays. So it's very exciting.
You mentioned these books. Why Cambridge School Shakespeare? Why do they work in the classroom so well? And I know we might be a little bit biased, but I've taught various different texts and editions, and they do work, so why?
Well, I used them in the classroom when I was a student, when I was at school. And I remember even then, this was one of the first and few textbooks, and I said, I'm on, this sounds like an advert now. You know, I remember even then, the fact that there were photographs from productions just helped my imagination along with these plays, and it really did fire my my excitement about how these this text, we're not supposed to call it a text, this script,
yeah, definitely,
can and has been brought to life. So I think that's one of the exciting things, the way it's laid out, the fact that it places such a strong emphasis on stagecraft and on these scripts as living, breathing blueprints of performance.
I like the democratic nature of it, actually, the sense that every student can find their own version of Shakespeare, which was very much within Rex Gibson's vision that he developed at the end of last century, and that their own interpretation is equally valid and to be found often through active Shakespeare in the classroom.